Well, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Dominic Phoenix, and today we're gonna continue some more Turnabout Serenade. Well, this is it. Today's the day it all goes down. And then there was yesterday. This meeting is over. Sorry. Just give us 5 more minutes. We can call them back after that. Sorry, no go. Come on, piano boy. We're leaving. Darian, wait! Never liked you. Either of you. Huh? Darn it, we were so close. He was about to tell us. Hey, Apollo. He didn't want us to hear what Machi had to say. I think I know why. Time to bring down justice. What was that? He has heard, but unseen. Who's that talking? Ballot Gremory! I exclaimed as he walked in through the door normally. You aren't the witness today, are you, Uncle Ballot? Ha 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 ha! A preposterous proposition. How could I stand upon the stand? Why, my secrets will be free for the pluckling. I might even have to sign autographs. That is why I tend to remain hidden for the entire day. Oh, is vanishing magic? Indeed. I will jump upon his fresh chin and express myself to the next town over. But before I go, a word of warning. Warning? What? Grand Glamour criticizes the root of all that has happened. Do not forget this truth. A glamour? A spell, a sorcery, a great illusion. It's true, see, though it pays me to be a part so, you need to get in line for the ticket. Farewell! And there he goes. He sure seems happy about that illusion thing. Oh, big illusions are the bread and butter of a magician. You can pull off a show without one. The big illusion is always a spectacle to remember. Usually I involves cutting up things like keyboard elephants. On the Eiffel Tower, anything really. Though he was talking about what we saw at the concert. Why was disappearing at? The prosecutor Gavin's exploding guitar. I don't know what he meant by it being the root of all that has happened. Well, it's about time. Shall we go? Excuse me, sir. Yes? The scheduled starting time of the trial has been changed. The trial will not commence until 10:30, sorry for the inconvenience. Huh? Did something happen? This is a first. It was by the judge's request, some urgent personal business. Great, I bet he stayed up too late last night watching courtroom dramas. Apparently he's visiting the hospital again. The hospital? I believe it was mentioned that the Chief Justice's son is unwell. Apparently his condition worsened considerably this morning. The Chief Justice's son? Oh, that's right. Remember yesterday morning? The judge said he had to go visit him after the trial. There was an article about it in the newspaper. Be sure to read about it yourself. And here it is. Where have I heard that before? I'll let you read that article for us, Apollo. Just leave the TV guide page to me. Try not to lose the page with the funnies if you can. My apologies for the delay. Court is now in search for the trial of, how do you say his name again? Machi Tobai, a suspect for Mento. Right. It's his trial in any case. The defense is prepared, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready to rock. Is something wrong, Your Honor? No. Well, yes. It's just, I've been friends with the Chief Justice since we were students. It pains me to see him going through such a difficult time. And here it is, was it? The article said there is no known cure. Dear Judge, let me say with all honesty, I feel your pain, but now is not the time for tears. Now is the time for law. Indeed. We left off quite a juncture yesterday. I asked Interpol about that number. IPXX314206. The ancient register on this number was for May Latus. Thanks for looking into that, Mr. Christian. It's a great help. Oh, no problem at all, Your Honor. I'll be heading out. Wait! That voice just now. It was him. It was him? That voice I heard. Talking to Mr. Latus when I heard the gunshots fired. It was him. It was Mr. Darien. No way! Quite a sensational ending. Who would have thought Darien would guest star in a season cliffhanger as a suspect? I guess the prosecution look into this matter. Please tell us the court you're finding. Darien Christian is a member of my band, the Gaviniers. He is also a detective, making the current cases serious indeed. Yet, after investigation, I have found no cause of alter our case or filed no charges. And your reason is? Weren't you aware here, Forehead? He has an impeccable alibi. An alibi? Let us reveal the facts again, shall we? Contact how the night of the shooting was in 3 sets. The Gaviniers ripped up the stage during the first set. For the second set, our guests took center stage. The only performers appearing were myself, Lamore, and Mashi, along with the drummer and the bassist, with a total of 5. The shooting in the dressing room, however, took place during the third act. Lamore and the defendant, Machi Tobai, had left the stage at the point, and the Gaviniers were already rocking. This is when 2 shots rang out at the scene of the crime. Shots heard by Detective Emma Sky, mind you. And Apollo, you heard him too, right? I sure did. Furthermore, Lamore herself witnessed the moment of the crime. Well, perhaps I should say she heard the moment of the crime. When she claims to have heard Mr. Latus and Detective Christian talking. But that's impossible. Detective Christian was... Precisely. Detective Christian was on stage, getting his groove on, no less. Voila! A perfect alibi. Does the defense have anything to add to this? It's true, when I heard those gunshots, he must have been on stage. Still, there's something here that doesn't quite add up. It appears our detectives have no objections. I believe we can safely say that Darien Christian's alibi has been acknowledged. This means that Lamore is sadly mistaken. Her testimony cannot be true. Very well, of course. If we discard her testimony, then I see no evidence keeping us from declaring a verdict. If indeed there are no objections. Uh-oh, Apollo! If he declares a verdict now... the prosecutor Gavin's case is airtight. Lamar must have been lying to protect Machi. How could I rely on her testimony? Wait, how did I yesterday at the detention center? About the case? What about the case? You want to tell us about Mr. Latus' death? This meeting's over. Darien? Mashi was trying to tell us something. I know it. Maybe the best thing to do is ask him. Under oath. Very well. The court finds the defendant, what was his name again? Objection! Your Honor! No, that wasn't it. It was something like Marquis or Mr. Justice? Your Honor, before you declare your verdict, I would like to call another witness. Exactly who do you have to hear from? A witness who until now had not been given a chance to speak in this court. Because he doesn't speak English. You don't mean... I do. The defense calls defendant Machi Tobai to the stand. What? But he doesn't speak English. We'll use an interpreter. An interpreter? I'm afraid you have to look elsewhere. I only speak a few phrases such as I love you and where is the toilet. The defense would like to request Lamore as an interpreter. Lamore? There's a possibility she's protecting the defendant. But she'll be interpreting for the defendant. Why will she lie? This is most unusual. Bravo here, Forehead. Here, Judge, the prosecution agrees with the defense's request. If Lamore lies, I'll be able to tell him. Even my limited knowledge of the language should be enough for that. Well, if both prosecution and defense are up for this, I see little cause for refusal. Finally, some progress. Bailiff, please show the defendant and Lamore to the witness stand. suppose there's a first time for everything. Shall we proceed? Your name to begin with? If you would, Lemore. Yes. He says, Machi Tobai, the defendant. This is certainly a first for the courtroom. Not that we really need an interpretation for that message in particular. So far, so good. Very well. Mr. Justice, if you would. Huh? If I would what, Your Honor? Would what? You called the defendant to the stand, did you not? What would you have him testify about? What do I want him to testify about? I haven't thought of that far yet. Apollo! Are you going to ask him about what he was about to tell us yesterday? How can I if I don't know what he was saying? Excuse me, a moment, if I must speak. Yes, one more. Just now, Machi said there is something that he wishes to testify. Machi wants to testify about something? What could it be? What sort of testimony is he talking about? One moment, please. Ugh, the suspense is killing me. What? What? Well, Lemore? According to Machi, he has proof of his innocence. What? This is a surprise. Yahoo! Victory, Apollo, we did it! This is sounding too good to believe, and I know what that usually means. Well, if it is true, then this is a vital testimony. Lemore, I mean, Machi, please testify to the court. Very well. He says that word of Mr. Latu's death came as a great shock. But if the killing truly followed the lyrics of my song, he could not have done it. He says that because the lyrics are in English, he does not understand them. I see. He wouldn't have understood the English lyrics of the song. That would prevent him from following them so closely. I wonder what he mean by proof. Why he would only have to ask Lemore to know the meaning of that song. Lemore! Did you ever explain the lyrics of that song to him? He did tell him generally what the song was about, but I read in so much detail, and then he never asked. My oft-repeated warning already fled that forehead. Lemore might be protecting the witness. Well, anyway, let us proceed with the cross-examination. Mr. Justice, if you would. Yes, Your Honor. Something's hitting in that testimony, I know it. I'll just have to trust my bracelet to tell me where. It worked yesterday. It'll work today. Machi, you can't fool my eyes. You glanced towards her. The very moment Memoir said the word English. Why? And don't bother interpreting that. He understands me. Machi, tell the truth. You can understand English, can you? But what are you saying? Of course you can't. Machi continued the charade. Mr. Justice, Machi says this. I know the word English. Huh? Before coming to this country, he heard me speaking English. He learned the name for this language, that is all. What? Give me a break! Is there such an unusual word to understand? Do you not know Espanol, for instance? Well, yeah, but... I am sorry, but he truly does not understand your language. Well, then explain this! How does he know that the crime followed the lyrics? Have you always been such a suspicious mind, lad? It is simple. So simple that it hardly requires an explanation. He reads about it in a newspaper. The newspaper? Virginia Daily Bugle. You can buy it in this country these days, you know. They have already begun to report about this case in our homeland. I was right. What is wrong, Mr. Justice? Your eyes, they are quite fierce all of a sudden. Machi is lying. Maybe it's time to show them proof that he's lying. I have here a Borginian newspaper, a Borginian Daily Bugle, as a matter of fact. Indeed, there's a feature article about the case. Could you read this for me, Machi? That's right. It doesn't mention the lyrics. What? What is this all about? I'm sorry, Machi. You couldn't have read about the lyrics in the Virginia newspaper. What does this mean? I don't see how it's possible. I know. You must have heard the lyrics when the police were doing their questioning. Yes. Not possible. The subject of the lyrics was not brought up in police questioning. I read the full report myself. So, the lyrics weren't in the newspaper and the police didn't mention them. The only place you could have heard them was in this courtroom. In English, no less. The witness will explain himself. Machi says, yes? It is true I read the newspaper, but this is not where I learned from the lyrics. I was mistaken. Now I remember. You remember? He says he heard the lyrics from me. What? Is this true, Lamore? Yes, I'm afraid I have forgotten myself. Then it looks like Forka has been jumping to conclusions again. It seems so, yes. No! I was onto something, I know it! I can't let this chance slip away! Time is an issue today, Mr. Justice. Are you finished with the cross-examination? What are you gonna do, Apollo? I'm going to keep on cross-examining and I better have an angle of attack. Or else. My bracelet's still reacting. Your Honor, please allow me to continue. If you must, you must. Very well. Witness? I understand. It is I who is playing that the cry follows soon.
Gotcha!
Lamore? I'm curiously cross-examining Machi. Why should you be uncertain? Me? Uncertain? Yes, you swallowed the very moment you told the court. It was I who explained. I see there's little point in trying to hide anything from you. Lamore, are you indeed protecting someone? That is not a question I would just simply answer. To tell the truth, I do not believe in myself. Then allow me to answer for you. Lamore, you're protecting...
Take that!
Lamore, you're protecting Machi. That's why you lied and told that you had explained how the crime followed the song. I don't fault you for trying to help, but this is not the way. Machi, you believe you didn't do it, really. I trust you. But you lied to us twice, and now you have Lamore lying on your behalf. If this is going to work, you have to trust me too. You two lies cover the simple truth. You understand English. You have to. Ah! Witness, is this true? Do you understand English? Yes, a little, only. What? First he could say, now he could talk? And you did not know about this, Lamore? No, I did not. It's quite a surprise. How many secrets is this witness hiding? This is last. Machi, you could tell us what really happened? No shooting. I did no shooting. So you weren't in the dressing room when I heard the 2 gunshots, correct? Apparently the answer to that question isn't simple either. I was in the dressing room, behind desk, manager, on floor. Which would mean after the shooting, right? Then there is voice. Voice? Or voices? Was it you or Emma, Apollo? When Machi went to the dressing room, he saw that Tusa had already been shot. And then he came to the door. Panel high up. I take off. Run away! Run away! So it was you who escaped to the air vent. As the prosecution has upheld all along, no less. The defendant has admitted of being at the scene. Might we take this as a confession?
Objection!
No! He clearly denied that he did it! I know shooting! Manager on floor! Already on floor!
Objection!
The victim had already been shot, you say? I find that hard to believe. The defendant understood the song's lyrics. He wasn't seen in the crime. This can only mean one thing. He is the shooter. Does the defendant have anything to say to this? He's clammed up, Apollo. Well, let's ask Mr. Justice. Will you require any further testimony from the witness? Is this it? Is there nothing else I can get him to testify about? Wait, no, of course there is. What is this cocoon anyways? The cocoon, the silk, is a potent cure. A cure? Well, Machi, are you a smuggler? He won't tell me. That cocoon has to have something to do with this. Machi, please, tell us the truth for your own sake. No must speak. Not to any of you. Tell us for your precious trust, Herr Forger. Hey, you were the one who didn't believe him. Regardless, this brings us to an impasse. It does seem like the defendant are in odds. I doubt we are likely to learn anything more of the valley should this continue. I see no other course but to declare a 5-minute recess. The defense will work things out with the defendant so that we might proceed. Apollo Eustace! That's justice. Better learn how to say it if you ever want to get some. But leave! I know shooting! Machi claims Mr. Latu was already down on the ground when he entered the room. Maybe it was a trap and he walked right into it? Suddenly, I hear a revolver. Close. Very close. Then, I hear a voice. You heard gunshots? Yes, it's true. I hear a revolver, but only sound. Wait, you're saying you only went to the dressing room? And found Mr. Latu's already dead, and then you heard shots? If that's true. So, you were at the scene of the crime when you heard those shots? And you escaped to the air vent? I know. Huh? What do you know? I know I have an opening vent. I can leave stage and backstage. So the vents were to both stage and the backstage area? Is that what he means? Hey, he's right. Look, Apollo. Huh? Yeah. But how did you know it was connected like that? Wait, I bet his father was the architect that designed the hall or something. I hear this from Magician. Magician? Don't look at me! Magician, huh? Well, at least we're clear on one thing. Machi didn't shoot Mr. Latus. Yeah, but what does it leave us with? We're supposed to say he went to the room and find the body and then she heard the shots? That one's going to go over well in court, not. Apollo, you're his defense. You're supposed to believe whatever he says, even lies. That's what Daddy always told me. I'll just pretend you misheard him every time. So, what do we do? I'm sure you won't testify, Rachi. No talking. No. Well, it was worth a shot. That cocoon. I can't go home. Can't go home? I can't go home to Virginia. I do not want to go home. The penalty for taking the cocoon from Virginia is death. That's right, it's punishable by death. Of course, he's scared. Oh well, I guess we'll have to try a different approach. That was the spirit, Apollo, so what's your plan? If Machi won't testify about it, we'll have to get someone else to testify. Someone else? I think we're out of time. Let's get back in there. Right! Court is back in session. Mr. Justice, have you sorted things out with the defendant? Yes, Your Honor. We had a good talk. Very well. So will he testify? Your Honor, the defendant will not testify. What? Shame. Here I thought this was your big chance to turn this case around. Actually, it is. The defense would like to approach this case from a different angle, Your Honor. A different angle? If Machi won't testify, then I know who will. I would like to cross-examine the witness of this case, Lamar. Lamar?
Objection!
What are you up to now? I thought we determined yesterday that Lammore's testimony was insubstantial. There's nothing you can. Lamore was taken to the hospital yesterday with injuries. What happened? She was assaulted, Your Honor. Assaulted? Someone wanted Lamore dead. Thankfully, she was able to save herself. What? I heard no such reports. Prosecutor Gavin. Why would anyone be out to kill Lamore? Can you think of a reason? Well, think of how she is known in our country. A singer from overseas who doesn't speak English, yes? Yet someone tried to keep her mouth shut. Who would it have been? You don't think? I do. It was the same person who shot Mr. Latouche. The killer was afraid of her, afraid of what she might say. The defense believes that something was hidden in her testimony yesterday. Something that the killer doesn't want getting out. Oh, am I to understand that this is what you were saying? Namely that there's a nugget of truth of Lamore's testimony? A nugget we have yet to uncover? Exactly. If Lamore was attacked, this has serious implications. Very well. There are some vague points in her testimony during yesterday's trial. Perhaps we did not inquire as deeply as we might have into some. The court will hear Lamore's testimony once more. Lamore, I must apologize. We must ask you to stand again and speak. You need not apologize. I know that Marty is innocent. I will do all I can to help. I can until the court realizes this. Let's review your testimony from yesterday. You told us you heard 2 gunshots and a shooter's voice through the window. And that is the voice belonged to Daria and Kristen, right? Yes? That is correct. At which point, I proved she could not be correct. She couldn't have heard any of those things. The small window at the scene was closed and was found to be quite soundproof. You have nothing to say to that, Mr. Justice? I don't know exactly what yet, but I do know there's something there. Yet it seems. Much you do not know. And yet it is my duty to hear him out. Perhaps the witness will be so kind as to testify once more to the court? Of course, Your Honor. I was on my way to the stage, to the backstage exit. That's when I heard them, Mr. Latouche and the detective. I heard a faint sound of the gunshot and stopped, and I heard another gunshot. I could just smell gunpowder. I know I must tell someone, but I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past the small window. Pretty much the same as yesterday's testimony. I'm sorry. I'm not used to speaking much in this language. Perhaps my descriptions are lacking in some way. Yet everything I have said here is the truth. It is my distinct pleasure to say this. What he has said is to say what happened is impossible. Do I have to repeat myself? Lamore was attacked because of this testimony. What, Trucy? Hello. You know, for a moment there, you were pretty cool. Maybe I do better when I don't try to think ahead. Very well, Mr. Justice. Perhaps you can coolly cross-examine the witness. Very Kristen? I did not know his name at the time. But yes, it was him, the one who took the stand yesterday. How many times do I need to remind you that's impossible? There's no way you could have hurt him. Because the window of the scene was closed? Is that why? Of course. Oh, if we keep asking the same questions as yesterday, we won't get anywhere. Right. Is there a different angle I could try? Lamore, do you by any chance remember what they were saying to each other? If so, please tell us. I've given as much to reflection, but I was afraid of this. She doesn't remember. I only heard one phrase clearly. A whole phrase? Do you remember something that was said? Why didn't you say anything yesterday? But my memory is clear. I was afraid to speak. See, I do not understand what was said. This could be it. A clue we have been waiting for. Well, what did he say? It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Latouche. The shooter, then. And Kristen. Well, what did he say? It's over. Press the switch. Now. Switch? And the shooter said this to the victim, Mr. Latouche? I thought it was quite strange myself afterwards. It is a mystery. What could it possibly mean? Mr. Justice, care to shed some light on this? I mean, sure, I'll be delighted. It's very, very vital. Perhaps, maybe we can add it to the testimony. Maybe, Apollo. My window, I hear the voice saying, press the switch now.
Objection!
Press the switch. There's only one key to the unlock that can unlock the mystery of those words. Oh? And yet there is nothing in the scene that could call the switch save the lights. True, there wasn't a switch at the scene, but it just so happens I have a switch right here. That certainly does look like a switch, doesn't it? The problem is, this was found not at the scene of the crime, but on the stage. Stage? Where the concert was held, yes. This was found hidden there. On the stage. Are you claiming that the voice Lamore heard was from someone commanding another to press the switch? It's a possibility.
Objection!
Okay, forehead, I call that an impossibility. Why? It's hardly necessary for me to remind the court of the layout of the court form. The stage is quite far from Lamore's dressing room. Not to mention the Cavaliers were in the middle of a concert on said stage. We aren't known as being a quiet band. You could shout all you want and not be heard. Detective's voice was loud, but certainly not enough to shout. So do can hear Forehead's cries a possibility falling short of being heard. Sorry. But he wouldn't have needed to shout. Excuse me? Do you hear what I said? Or do you need me to shout it out for you? It would have been quite simple to be heard on the stage from that dressing room. Oh wait, you like evidence, don't you? How about this? Using this, it would be easy to get the message someone on the stage from the dressing room.
Take that!
Prosecutor Gavin, perhaps you're familiar with this? Why, that's... What? What is it? Is this some kind of new fang phone that you invented while looking? This is a type of a transmitter, a communication device. Communications device? From what I heard that night, everyone on stage was wearing one of these. Isn't that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, actually, they're for talking between band members. We all had one on. So you admit that if you were wearing one of these, talking from the backstage in the stage would be simple.
Objection!
True, but wait, those send an electrical signal to avoid interference with the audio system since their range is quite limited. One more said it was about 30 feet, right? Look at this cross-section diagram of the concert form. Exactly. The walk of the stage to the backstage seems far, but a direct distance is less than 30 feet. That can't be! So when Lamore heard the shooter's voice, he could have been talking to someone on stage.
Objection!
You're claiming this is a switch in question? Why did it have to be on the stage at the time? It could have placed in the pocket or carried anywhere. Someone who had hidden on stage after the fact. Hey, he's got a point. How do we know where it was when she heard the voice? When the shooter said press the switch? Well, I guess we don't. An unfortunate situation. I'm afraid that until we know where the switch was, there's no point in debating it. Ugh. I was sure this was the way to go with this. What is the switch anyways? We don't even know what the basic fact. Wait a second. I do know what this switch is. And if you follow that train of logic and this credible conclusion, it ends up in proof and completely changes the case. What's up, Apollo? Apollo? You know about the switch, right? We know what it is. Yeah? Well, think of when it was used that day. Think of what happened. Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no further information to share concerning this switch, Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Justice? I have remiss in not telling the court this before. I know what this switch is. Well, it seems the defense was set upon linking the switch to the case. Let's see your evidence of this link. What evidence do you have to explain what this switch is?
Take that!
Prosecutor Gavin, you remember this? That's that! That what? Is this another one of those newfangled phones? This is an igniter. What phone looks like this? Igniter? You mean it's like a lighter? Yes, actually. You aren't saying this switch is a remote? I am. This is a remote trigger for the igniter. What? Look, I'll show you.
Yo! Mr. Justice, you will cease and desist from burning down this courtroom!
Sorry, that was a bit more fire than I expected. If my wishes have caught on fire. Prosecutor Gavin, let me repeat myself. This switch is a remote ignited trigger. Doesn't that suggest something to you? You're talking about what happened to me, aren't you? Ah! Exactly. That night at the concert, there was one unusual burst of flame. When your guitar caught fire in the middle of your performance.
Wasn't that part of the stage show, though?
Prosecutor Gavin was entirely unaware such a thing has been planned. And the guitar that burnt was a valuable keepsake. That's right. You got it in Virginia from Landmark. You said the sound was amazing before it burnt, of course. Now it just hangs smokes. The better the guitar, the brighter it burns. Here, forehead. Yes? Don't tell me you're trying to tie these two things together. Those being the shooter's voice were heard by Landmark. And the guitar suddenly catching on fire? I am. It's really simple when you think about it. Mr. Latus and the shooter were on the crime scene. The shooter was wearing a headset. He ordered someone on stage to press the switch. The switch was pressed and the guitar caught fire.
Well, that does seem to make sense.
Though something about it is bugging me, can't quite put my finger on it. Really, it seems pretty simple to me.
Objection!
Here, forehead, don't destroy what little respect I have for you. I was expecting something a little more sensible. I guess I was wrong.
What's this all about, Prosecutor Gavin?
Its simple story simply makes no sense. I think that night that guitar got fired, yes? The cause may have been this indeed. However, the guitar caught fire during the second act. That's right, of course! The guitar caught fire during Landmark's song. Indeed, yet the shooter happened during the third act. The two are utterly unrelated. Yes, that might have been what was bugging me. The whole premise of this is faulty. See, his story makes no sense.
Objection!
Are you sure about that?
What exactly do you mean, Mr. Justice?
Maybe it's not the premiere of my explanation of the switch that's at fault. Maybe it's our premiere of the entire case so far. What a premiere is this specifically? I'm glad you asked. I'm saying that maybe the killing didn't take place at the third act.
Objection!
What's this? The detective Emma Scott heard shots and found the body. All of this happened in the third act.
Objection!
Gunshots rang out, and according to his testimony, Machi was in the dressing room at the time.
Where are you going with this, Mr. Justice?
Stay with me, Your Honor. He also told us this is a testimony, namely that the victim had already been shot. We all heard gunshots, but no one saw the shooting. This is insane. Just before the shooting took place, the shooter was heard in his headset, telling someone to press the switch. The next moment, Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flame. We know that the remote trigger igniter was inside the guitar. From all of these facts, we can draw only one conclusion. The crime did not take place during the third act, but during the ballad performance, the second act. What?
Order! But that goes against the evidence.
What does, Your Honor?
The crime was carried out according to the lyrics of that song, yes?
Hey, he's right, look! The bullet that's supposed to come after the fire. You're thinking about it the wrong way. Huh? Look. Why did the shooter craft the events of the day to follow the lyrics anyways? It's an awful lot of trouble to go through. With little merit of the person doing it.
Well, I'm sure whoever it was has some reason.
Yes, they did. A reason that made it adventurous to follow the lyrics.
You're saying the order was reversed on purpose? Reversed, Prosecutor Gavin?
If the criminal followed the lyrics strictly, then yes. The shooting would have come after the guitar burst into flames. Yet here Jorge has raised another possibility. He claimed that the bullet came after, but just before the fire. Couldn't I put it better myself? You only meant to think that the shooting came after the guitar burst into flame. That was the criminal's objective. The crime followed the lyrics of the plan. That was a ruse. Why else would the killer risk discovery of moving the body? That was the final test to make us think he followed the lyrics the whole way.
Order, order, order! That would explain the most unusual situation.
It does. The killer changed the order of events to create himself an alibi. In other words, the killer was someone who had an alibi for the third act, but not the second.
Objection!
I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but sadly it has. Let me tell you why your little fairy tale makes no sense at all. Oh, it sounds good, I'll give you that. You're giving us a reason why the killer bothers on following the lyrics of my song. But I question your logic, for it's flawed and from the very beginning. Flawed? Yes, a contradiction, Kid Forehead. One I pointed out several times, no less. At the time of the crime, a small window of the scene was closed. How could Lemon have heard the voice through it? Oh. I know you would like to divert our attention from this critical fact, but you're basing your entire line of reasoning on a false premise. Right. Lamore's testimony is my entire case. That voice she heard, the shooter's voice. What if she couldn't hear it, Apollo? Look, what do we have? A man saying press the switch. And near the crime scene we have a switch, which acts as a remote trigger for the igniter. And last but not least, Kashi Gamen's flaming guitar. It can't be all a coincidence, but how do I make it work? I see a more direct line of questioning is required. When the crime scene was investigated immediately after the crime, that window was closed. Can it tell us how Lambert heard the voice?
A key point to be sure. Mr. Justice, can you explain this to the court?
Okay, Justice, you got one thing to prove, and one thing only. Lambert heard a voice. And she heard it during the second act. See, how was Lambert able to hear the voice? What if we investigated the scene? When we investigated the scene, the window was closed. The shooter had no reason to close it had it been open either, meaning it was impossible to hear the voice through that window. Ah, it's good to hear you making sense again. For a moment, I was afraid you might be in Borginian too. As I was saying, Landmark and I heard the voice through that window, so there can be only one explanation. He heard the voice from another location entirely.
What's this?
You did amuse me so. And here I thought you and Good Sense were back to speaking time. No, I'm afraid you and Good Sense speak two entirely different languages. Shall I interpret it for you here, Forehead? Landmark clearly states she heard the voice through that small window. And there's only one small window at the scene. Are you sure? Think about it. Isn't there another small window at the scene? There is? Oh, I know that look. You want us to ask him. Very well. You claim Lamar heard the voice from another location? Mr. Justice, show us his location was. Lamar heard the voice from here.
Take that!
This is where Lamar heard that voice from.
But that's no small window. That's an air vent.
What did she tell us? She says she's a Borginian, unfamiliar with our language. It's not a stretch to imagine she called this air vent a small window.
Objection!
Now you've done it. You've gone beyond ridiculous into ludicrous. So Lamar was up at the ventilation system listening to a man's voice? The only logical explanation, yes. Logical? I do not think this word what you think it means, you hard forehead. Okay, but what about it isn't logical? Ha! The other human is insane. Why would Lemma be in the ventilation system? Hiding it like a rat, no offense intended to hurt, of course. The explanation for that is simple, Parson Gavin. Isn't it, Lamwar? You have been listening to our discussion here, yes? Yes. I admit it's had me quite confused since yesterday. Yes, the small window was closed. But why would that mean I could not hear through it? If you're a prosecutor, my insulting interpretation. The problem here is words. Lamar, this small window through which you heard the voice. Was it up high in the ceiling of the room, not low on the wall? Yes, I was up in the ceiling. What?
Order! Order! I will have order! Witness, you will clarify this statement to the court. Are you in fact saying that you were up above the ceiling of the room, and that's where you heard the moment of the crime?
Yes, in fact I was. I'm so sorry. I am sorry. I never imagined it would be such an important point. Yes, well, why the heck were you up there?
I believe it's time for another testimony.
I'm not sure. I can't.
May I remind you this is a murder trial? We will hear your testimony. Tell us why you witnessed the crime from above the ceiling of that room. Please.
Well, looks like I'm in the right track. Yes, I was above the ceiling when I heard the voice. I heard there was a small window there before. It was in the middle of my performance. I had no time to report what I've heard. As why I was there, I cannot say. I am bound to secrecy on this matter.
Bound to secrecy?
In my line of work, one has many obligations to uphold.
But you said you were in the middle of your performance. So this did happen during the second act.
I did not witness the crime, you must understand. I only know what I heard.
Yes, but you must tell us where you were doing in detail.
It's one of the cross-examinations for the Yahoo forehead. Our mission in this court is to tell the truth. No obligation, no blinding pag may hinder that mission.
Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin your cross-examination.
Well, what are you going to do, Apollo?
I'm going to find out the truth. She was up above that ceiling for a reason. I just have to get it out of her. Lamore, truth be told, the reason of your presence above the ceiling is quite clear, especially when you consider what happened during your performance.
What happened?
Yes, it's all right here on this video. As we can see, Lamar was clearly not on stage with her entire performance. Though it saddens me to be so realistic, Lamar is incapable of actively vanishing, let alone teleportation. So the only explanation is that she was hidden from view, and during that time she moved into the back of the form.
Apollo!
What, Trucy?
It's not nice to reveal a magician's secrets, and it's against the rules.
But I'm a lawyer, I'm not supposed to be nice. This is all very fascinating.
But how is it possible? There's only 20 seconds between when she disappears and reappears. She couldn't have moved that fast.
Is something wrong, Mr. Turnabout?
This was his concert, his show. He knows how the illusion was performed.
Aha! He's just realizing his own oversight.
Let's look at the cross-section diagram again.
Here, we can trace the route through the ceiling. It goes on the stage through the backstage to the rear of the form. Recall Landmore's testimony from yesterday. I was on my way to the stage of the backstage exit. There was something like a small window there. That's how I saw it. She went from the stage to the backstage exit. Perfect description of the route above the ceiling. Landmore knew of this because of a part of the illusion. But she wasn't the only one who knew. What? Just now in the lobby, Machi told me something. I know if by opening vent, I can leave stage and backstage. You said that? Oh, well, you're not informed, Prosecutor Gavin? I knew about the vanishing echo, of course, yet I had no idea of the route that will be used. Why didn't a magician tell me? Magicians only reveal details of their acts on a need-to-know basis. It's the bread and butter of the magician's life, you know. Which is why he bound Landmore to secrecy. Well, Landmore? I'm impressed, Mr. Attorney. Machi was right about you.
So, what does this mean? Are you saying you used this route above the ceiling?
Kid.
Well, that's that. But I'm still a little confused.
Why is that, Your Honor?
There was very little time between she disappeared and when she reappeared. 20 minutes, tops. How could she do it so fast? Especially if she stopped to hear the shooter's voice.
That's a good question.
Can the witness explain this to the court?
I cannot.
Very well. Mr. Justice?
Yes?
It's all up to you. Do your thing.
What thing, Your Honor?
You need to explain how Landmore was able to teleport like she did. Well, I'm throwing your case out with the bathwater. Ugh.
How do I get picked on? It's Landmore going along the program here. As I stated before, I'm not really the speed of the illusion and the detail.
And you just have to tell us what you can. We'll hear your testimony on this. Mr. Justice, it will be your job to winging the truth out of her.
Yes, if you would, please.
Right.
I feel like a student before finals. Good luck, Apollo! I followed the route exactly as I was instructed. The emergency exit in the backstage where the stage waited. From there, one can enter the form on the opposite side of the stage. The plan was for me to move there in 2 minutes. I was on my way when I heard the voice.
2 minutes, you say. The mystery deepens.
I suppose it was too much to hope that the judge would come up with something.
As does my curiosity. Take it away, Mr. Justice.
Right, Your Honor. All I have to do is find a contradiction between what Landmore is saying and what we can see plainly in the video. I figured out already. I'm a magician after all. Well, tell me. Not a chance. I can't reveal none of the magician's secrets. Come on. Hey, you're supposed to be on my side here.
Hold it!
2 minutes? Yes, it can't be done in 1 minute if you are running. Running? In that cramped dark tunnel above the ceiling? Sir Attorney, have you forgotten? Dark or lit, it makes no difference to me. Ah, that's true, but...
So you're saying that on the night of the concert you made a trip in 2 minutes?
Yes, though I nearly didn't make it in time. You see, I stopped halfway. Landmore disappeared in the video for 20 seconds. And she said she made the trip in 2 minutes. How? To my professional opinion, I bet the answer is right there in that video.
Well, Mr. Justice, perhaps you have some evidence for us?
Something that can explain the discrepancy between the video and the testimony? Ugh. Parents can explain the discrepancy. There's one piece of evidence that explains the discrepancy between video and testimony.
Take that!
Lamar, do you happen to remember this brooch? Aha, the brooch. We saw that yesterday, did we not? It was found in the scene, Your Honor. And you're bringing this up now? Why? I thought we have already determined when that was dropped. So did I, but we had him. Take another look at the video. Here, you can see she's wearing a brooch.
So she is.
Let's take a look later.
What? The brooch! It's gone! What?
Yes. The brooch disappeared in the short space of 20 seconds. And it takes a full minute to run from the stage to the backstage. Which means there can only one explanation. The landmark we see before vanishing and the landmark we see after are two different people!
What? What?
The brooch was found on the floor of the crime scene. And not just on the floor, but on the floor directly beneath the air vent. Landmore, tell me, did you drop the brooch on your way to the stage to the backstage? At the very moment you witnessed the crime? Yes, I think I did.
Order! Prosecute cabin!
From your expression, I gather you had no idea this wasn't the case here, Judge. I, of course, knew about it.
What?
Don't get me wrong, I wasn't hiding it. It just never occurred to me that the switch and the shooting took place at the same time. So, I was right? There was a switch? There was. Just before the stage tower rose, his landmark was replaced.
Well, on the subject, just who was his replacement landmark?
Why, the man behind the illusion. Valid Grammary. Grammary? That's quite the illusion, but I still don't get one thing. Yes? The switch happened before the tower rose, correct? So you weren't on the stage. That's right. But this fake Lamar is still singing. And she's pretty good. That's true. Come on, Apollo, this is an easy one. You're just playing a recording. The Gaviniers are some kind of air guitar band for long. Oh, you mean I was wrong? When we play the show live, we play live, no recordings. Perhaps you can explain that more? Very well.
Yes. Do tell, and add it to your testimony.
I have to keep singing you on move.
Hold it!
You were singing?
Yes. Mr. Gavin expressed a dislike for recording. So I use this.
Wait, so you were singing the whole time? Even when you were crawling up the ceiling towards the backstage?
Why should it matter where I sing when everywhere I go is the same darkness?
But you were going to sing, but you were singing while you were walking?
That's right, wouldn't the shooter and Victor have heard? He was singing right over their heads after all. That is right. Are you sure? You have to be pretty hard at hearing to miss someone singing in the ceiling. But again, I come back to the state of the scene of the crime. What state? I know what he means, that old speaker, Apollo.
The speaker?
The speaker was blaring at the time of the murder. That's for monitoring the state of this room. Monitoring? It passes a real-time feed of the stage microphones. Useful for knowing when your set is coming up. Satisfied? Addressing on the show with the loudspeaker playing a direct feed from the stage. I might regret it, actually. Palermo singing in the ceiling. sounded just like Landmark singing over the speaker? Ingenuous, her voice was hidden by her voice. Landmark? I have just remembered something. Do tell. When I heard the noise, the gunshots, yes, it startled me, so I stopped singing. What? I forgot the words I was supposed to sing. The song stopped? Well, it was the very beginning of the second verse. Not many would notice. Forehead, that mixing board I lent you. Where is it? The mixing, huh? The machine, Apollo. The one that breaks music into tracks. Oh, this? I completely forgot about it. Let's take a listen. The song does stop there.
It does? Oh, I must have missed it.
Look at the lyric sheet at the top of the second verse. See where it says pleasure, pleasure? Now listen again.
This is evidence indeed. I believe we are guilty of making a terrible mistake.
The crime didn't happen during the third act. It happened during the second, during Landmark's ballad.
If that's true, then no one on stage on the second set who could have been the shooter.
Which means that Darren Christian could have done it. He wasn't on stage for the second set.
Well, Prosecutor Gavin?
Fascinating. I don't believe I've ever seen a trial turn around quite so thoroughly. Yet only one problem remains.
What's that, Prosecutor Gavin?
Your Forehead theory does have a certain kind of logic to it. Yet it's entirely based upon Landmark's testimony.
Yes, is there a problem with this?
Well, it's quite simple, though it pains me to say it. What if she was lying to protect the defendant?
Objection!
Well, you have no proof! What I'm saying is that the truth is yet clear. Until we hear directly from the man himself.
The man? You don't mean...
Yes. Though he isn't a friend, a band member, Darren Christian must take the stand. I see no other way. As someone with a new perspective on the case, as a suspect to be frank. Finally, the rat's coming out of his hole. And I'm ready to catch him. Darren Christian, get ready for justice.
This is as good as time for any possible brief recess. The prosecution will summon the witness. Have him here and be ready by the time we begin.
I'm the last man who needs to be reminded of what his duties are.
Very well. Court is adjourned for the 15-minute recess. Yeah, right, let's actually finish this off because this is the last part. Apollo, I can't believe it! It really happened during the second act? Right in the middle of Lamar's performance? The reason why she was in the air vent, and that switch in the flaming guitar, when you link it all together, that's what you end up with. I knew you had what it took. It's him! Daddy! Mr. Wright! You believed in me? Not really. Huh? I just thought I'd make a cooler entrance than say hiya. Why do I even bother hoping? Where have you been lately, Daddy? You haven't been coming to the office at all. Ah, sorry about that, Trucy. I'm on a secret mission. Secret? You mean like you're undercover? Like you said that too, or shorter and not as well dressed. Oh no, what if you shot too, Daddy? Would I do such a thing like that to you? Anyway, I'm off for a while again. Huh? You're leaving? Oh, one more thing before I go. What? Good luck. Right. Is that all you came to say? I think you have things pretty much under control. You get much to buy off the hook, no doubt. Yeah, but... You're after that detective, are you? Darren Christen. It won't be easy proving he did it. Especially not under the current court system. Current court system? What did Prosecutor Gavin say during the trial? The case is based on one fragile conception. Namely that our Kiba Divine is telling the truth. But what about all the proof? The brooch and the switch? A piece of jewelry and a lyrical blunder? There are plenty of other ways to explain these things. The flaming guitar too. All because you lack the definitive proof of your connection to the case. But if the sultry songstress is lying, her case smells like butter in the frying pan, leaving behind a faintly singing sense of failure. What do I do? Like I said, good luck. And be aware that it will be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Ugh. Oh, that reminds me. I have something to give you from a detective friend. But this guy? Emma? Let's see, a bag of snacks here was meant for me. Ah, here it is. What are those, Daddy? Oh, like very good snacking material. I found at the scene. I analyzed the fragments with real traces of gunpowder. Gunpowder? Probably a firecracker or something similar like the ones kids are into these days. These fragments were found under the sofa of the scene of the crime, actually. Under the sofa? Hey, Apollo! That's where he found that little device thingy! Right, this. Well, finally some evidence that makes sense. That's all from me, I suppose. See you after the verdict. Maybe. Right. Every man has an igniter inside him. Excuse me? Find Darren Christen's igniter and set it off. And he walked out the door just like a magician, normally. What does he want us to do? No conventional methods? What does that mean? I guess we'll have to take his advice and hope it makes sense when the time comes. I guess. We're almost at the finish line. Hang in there, Trucy. Court is back in instruction. Prosecutor Gavin works as a Christen. In the witness lounge, ready to be called at any time. Very well. Might I add, I don't believe any of this. Darren was my first detective I ever worked with. We stopped working together when he moved to Criminal Affairs Division 3. But his guitar playing defies my imagination. That's nice, but it has nothing to do with the matter in hand. Correct? Oh, I know. Head forehead. Very well. Call the final witness to the stand. Detective Terry Christen. Name and occupation, please. Darren Christen, Detective, Criminal Affairs Division 3. That's the International Affairs Division for those who don't know. And I'm a guitarist of the Gaviniers. Maybe you heard of us? Do you fully understand the circumstances under which you stand before us today? Yeah, I understand, Your Honor. What I don't understand is how you let this happen, partner. You gave me your word I wouldn't be standing here. The situation's changed, Gideon. And don't call me partner. So much for old friends.
I see what you're doing, Darian. You're pressing the prosecution. Your Honor, if we could begin the trial. Yes, it's high time you did. Let's hear your testimony. You may begin your response on Landmore's testimony. If, in fact, you have anything to say about it. Oh, I got plenty to say. Lying must be a national pastime in Virginia. And wherever you're from, Mr. Justice. Ha! Conventional measures are out of the window, huh? Here goes nothing. The diva's lying, plain and simple. She got nothing to back up her story. In the first place, she never heard my voice. She forgot the words because she heard gunshots? As if. Didn't Detective Emma Sky heard those gunshots during the third act anyway? The shooting took place when I was on stage, man. So you claim Landmore's testimony was a lie? Hey, don't get me wrong. I dig what she's doing, trying to protect that kid. And she got that court-aiding vague statements out of her hand just because she's lying. You go too far, Darian. Look, all I'm saying is you got a reliable witness. Why not listen to the detective? Sergeant Sky? I see. Mr. Justice, you may begin your cross-examination. You didn't waste any time finding our weak spot. I can't do this without Landmore's testimony alone. I'll have to find some other way to prove when the shooting took place.
Objection!
Some things were found in the crime scene after yesterday's trial. What things? The first was this small device. That's the remote-triggered igniter. Correct. And one more thing. What are those? The remains of something burnt? Not another guitar, Herb? Traces of gunpowder found on these fragments. We have a report that was something like a firecracker. And how did Gavin know about this already? What, you think Detective Sky worked for you? I received the report this morning before coming here. That's when I made my decision, actually. What decision is this, Prosecutor Gavin? I registered Daddy as a witness in today's trial, just in case. This raises another possibility. Those gunshot-like sounds during the third act. Could it have been the two firecrackers rigged to go off by remote control? You got an active imagination, don't you? But you shouldn't say every little thing you think. Your explanation there seems to be a little bit too inconvenient for me. How so? So, you're saying these firecrackers just happened to go off right when you two witnesses came walking by? Ha! That's right! Darren was out of the stage when it happened, Apollo. How would you know someone in backstage right then? If a firecracker goes off in the forest and there's no one there to hear it. You get my drift? Why not go through the trouble, man? Ugh! How do I explain this? You may not look at it, but Darren's a good detective. So any weakness and he'll sure to find it. May not be looked at it, partner. Gee, thanks, man. That reminds me. I happened to pass through a very hallway several times that day myself, and I saw something odd just before the third act. Something odd? A headset, the kind all band and staff members were wearing. That's right. We picked this one in front of the door of the dressing room. What if the headset wasn't dropped or placed, but what if it turned on? You could hear what was going on in that hallway, even if you were on stage. Heh. Whose side are you on, Kevin? Listen to me, Denny. There is no science in the court of law. Which is why I now turn to you here, Forehead. I got a question for you. Huh? For me? The igniter and the bird fragments that were found in the scene of the crime. It's certainly a possibility that they were part of the ruse to fake the sound of gunshots. Throw the headset on the hallway and then next you kept fabricating an alibi. But we're still no closer to proving anything. Those gunshots may have been real or fake, we cannot say. Ugh. You raise the possibility that the shots heard during the third act was faked. Now you need to prove the other half of the case. The other half? Look, I'll just tell him. He wants you to prove the thing that went down in the second act, while a little piano player was on stage. That's right. That right, Gavin? Indeed. If you can't prove that, then to continue this cross-examination will be pointless.
Well, Mr. Justice, can you prove that the crime took place during the second act? Yeah, I think.
Better know, Apollo, otherwise we'll through.
It can't be proven!
I think it's not like someone else is going to go and come along and do it for you.
Let's continue with the cross-examination then, shall we? Witness your testimony if you would.
This isn't going to be easy.
I need some decisive proof and fast. You ready, kid? Because I am. The shooting took place during the second act. If you're so sure, let's see your proof.
Objection!
It seems there were clear proof left behind. Right here in Latmore's song. Her song? What exactly is this device thingy? A new variant of gramophone, perhaps?
Come on, we just used this. And don't get me started on gramophone.
This device was used to record the performance part by part. Part?
Remove the sliders to adjust the volume. Each instrument is adjustable separately, Latmore's voice included.
Oh, but what does this prove?
According to Latmore's testimony, at the moment of the shooting, she forgot the words of the song. Ah, you intend to examine the recording of that moment, y'all. We might even hear those gunshots.
Exactly. Huh, ridiculous. How are you supposed to hear gunshots back in the dressing room on the stage?
Have you forgotten that again? You're all wearing these headsets.
Oh.
You're all deeply involved in that performance. But Latmore's headset would have picked up what she heard it all the same.
Then let's get an analysis of that recording. Right now.
Latmore stopped recording when she heard the shots fired. Find that spot and I'll find the gunshots.
Your Honor, listen closely to this part. This is the track where Latmore's vocals. I did hear something faintly there, yes. Why, it sounded like a gunshot. What? This has to be some kind of mistake.
I believe the case has been made. Gunshots were heard during the second act, which means Latmore's testimony was true.
Ah. Order. So she was telling the truth for what she heard?
It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Latouche.
Well, what did he say?
It's over. Press the switch now.
Just after that, there was a gunshot and the guitar got on fire.
Said the Kristen, you were on stage during the second act. You could have done it.
But why did we only hear one gunshot in the recording? Weren't two bullets fired from this weapon?
Latmore was moving through the air vent, Your Honor.
She must have been so close enough for her might to catch the first shot. But then, as she passed over the dressing room, the gun fired again and Mr. Latouche's life was taken. Well, it's the Crescent.
One thing I remind you of something.
Our performance that day. Your performance?
Seeing as the mixing board dropped my memory. You were there too, here, Forehead.
What is it with today? Problem after problem, a tongue. My heart won't start, my guitar case is busted, my guitar's been burnt to crisp, and on top of it all off, someone's dead. And then there was that performance just now. What was that all about? This part is off. Which is that? Second guitar. It was you, Daddy.
I thought it was strange at the time. How could you miss such a simple cue? I know you. I know how you play. You're better than that.
Yeah, well, You what? Prosecutor, what are you getting at?
I'm talking about the murder weapon, Mr. Latouche's 45 caliber handgun cannon. As we have learned, even a shooter doesn't go and escape with his revolver that size. Kickback is enough to dislocate your shoulder if you're an amateur.
Wait, you mean his playing was affected because he hurt himself shooting the revolver? You're forgetting something.
Yes, Detective Crescent?
I am a trained police officer, you know. I have firearms training, plenty of it. I'm no amateur.
The standard side munition to the police officer is a 38 caliber weapon. Much tamer bees, also the murder weapon belonged to the victim, Mr. Latouche. We suggest there is a struggle between killer and victim.
So, the killer might not have been holding a revolver correctly when he fired it. Is that what you mean?
The thought had occurred to me, yes.
Well, does the witness have anything to say to this? Detective Christian!
What I want to ask is what Mr. Sleeves roll-up ready for action has to say.
Hey, you, attorney!
Me? Exactly what piece of your evidence is decisive again? You got a little noise in that tape, that could be anything. And you have an alleged guitar cue miss due to 45 caliber kickback. I wait for this case, Gavin, I really do.
You can light up your little weak piece of evidence all you want.
I didn't shoot that manager.
And that's the obvious truth. The witness does have a point. The defense argument, while persuasive, is not decisive. I believe we should hear what the witness has to say in response to the case so far. Your testimony, please, Detective Christian. Tell us your reasons why you could have done it.
Come on, why don't you even want to kill a manager? You want a reason? Easy. I got no motive, man. This was that Diva's first trip of the country, yes? How could I possibly know her manager? If I didn't know him, why would I want to kill him?
A simple reason indeed. Prosecutor Gavin, is it the case that Mr. Latouche had not been in the country before?
According to our records, yes, not even once.
I see. Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin your cross-examination.
Great, now I need to find a motive.
Objection!
Your Honor, take a look at this. What's that? Looks like candy.
It's not. Don't lick it, please. As the Chris said, ever seen this? Looks like a piece of candy. What it is evidence. Don't lick it before you try it. Specifically, this is a replica of a cocoon. It was found among the victim's belongings.
A cocoon?
Never seen that one in color. It's a variety only found in the Republic of Virginia. Nowhere else.
Alright, what is this cocoon replica doing in my courtroom? Surely this has nothing to do with the motive for killing Mr. Latouche. Does it?
It does. Wait, I think it does. You don't sound too confident, man. A cocoon. Is it one of those silky cocoons? The kind you can make silk out of? Not this one. This cocoon makes a powerful curative. A curative? For what? Apparently it's the most effective at treating the disease through incurable. It's the only medicine of its kind. However, it is illegal to take one of these healing cocoons out of Virginia.
Whatever for. If there's such a miracle cure, why not share it with the world?
Yeah, that's what I've been wondering. You look into the matter at some length. Apparently, it isn't difficult at all to manufacture a remedy of the cocoon. Yet if you change the process only slightly, you can easily make a large quantity of something else entirely. A deadly poison, in fact.
What?
There was an incident several years ago where some of these got out into the black market. It caused quite a commotion in the global community, though the media was kept largely unaware.
Intriguing.
All this has led to the strict ban of the cocoon's export, one regularly enforced by Interpol among others.
Interpol?
Right! The victim, Romain Latouche, was an Interpol agent. Detective Crescent, you insist on referring to him as a manager. But that is misleading. Romain Latouche wasn't killed as a manager. He was killed as an undercover agent. So I was trying to smuggle this gumball into the country? That's what you're trying to say? I'm saying there could well be a motive for murder. Oh, was I going to sell it to the black market and make myself a pretty penny? Ridiculous. I mean, totally unthinkable. Unthinkable, you say? Why?
Perhaps it's time for another testimony about the smuggling of cocoons business.
International Affairs got a memo about these cocoons. Interpol's all hot and bothered about them. You can't sell them on the black market, too dangerous. Yeah, cocoon smuggling isn't exactly lucrative anymore. Man, I'm an international investor, I know the deal.
Indeed. Interpol wanted these cocoons bad enough to send Mr. Latouche undercover. You kids think of the craziest things, but no way am I going to risk life and limb just to get my hands on some dirty cocoon money. Not the most notable statements, but duly noted. According to the reports, the cocoons top Interpol list. Selling them in the underground organization would be risky. Very well. You may begin cross-examination. This is the only motive I got. He was up to something, and I'm going to find out what.
Objection!
Why not choose a less dangerous buyer instead? I would. How clueless are you? Everyone's gonna mark it dangerous. The second they found out I was a cop, they would kiss my keister goodbye. Why sell it to a black market buyer? How about someone like this? An article. That's about the Chief Justice's deadly poison can be extracted from the cocoon. So can cure. Not just any cure of any disease. A cure for incuratus. Incuratus? I heard of that somewhere. He wants to visit the victim of the disease this morning. Aha! But that's the disease the Chief Justice's son has. You weren't saying... Our witness is a detective. He could have checked with the Chief Justice. You were saying the Chief Justice would never deal with contraband. Not even to save his own son's life? But even if the deal went through, it would be an international scandal. That's Detective Christen's insurance. If word ever got on, the one with his neck on the line will be the Chief Justice. Mr. Christen, is this true? First I'm a murderer, now I'm a smuggler? How many crimes are you trying to pin on me anyways? As tasteful as it is to think about it, if the Chief Justice were the buyer, why, a seller couldn't hope for a better deal. A very cowardly seller. Don't let sleeves over there trick you. So I made a deal with the Chief Justice? Where's your proof? Well... Oh yeah, and you're forgetting one other important thing. Do tell. Interpol aren't the only ones who are out there watching this. Virginia Customs barely sleeps. They're so worried about cocoons getting out. So we were informed. Let's continue with the cross-examination.
Objection!
Actually, there is one way. What? One way to get something out of the country, no checks. What is it? You become a prosecutor. Prosecutor? I don't believe it. Believe it, Prosecutor Gavin. What was it you told me yesterday at your office? It was a beautiful instrument. It was played lovely for many years. A guitar befitting a woman like Glamour. How did I end up here? I mentioned how much I enjoyed playing it that night and she made a present of it. The guitar's from Virginia? And it is. We couldn't carry it to the place, changed some air pressure humidity going to the room. So we vacuum packed them in Landmore's studio. They use a special shipping service available to me for transporting evidence. They brought it right up to my office for me. Pristine and untouched. Did I get that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Untouched? Quite. The guitar was wrapped in several sheets and vacuum packed in Virginia. The pack was untouched until the day of the concert. Are you saying that guitar was... With cocoons this small, it would have been very easy to use the guitar as a mold to smuggle the cocoon out of Virginia. What? Which reminds me, Prosecutor Gavin, that guitar has some work done on it recently, right? What? Good memory here, Forehead. Well, you know how guitars have a round hole in the front? It is called a sound hole. Well, they found something attached to the wood just inside the hole. A broken device of some sort. A broken device? Yes, this in fact. An igniter! Exactly. Considering this, if you will. What if that igniter wasn't the only thing that was attached inside your guitar? You mean... He means this, of course. There is a way to get a cocoon out of the country. They could use Prosecutor Gavin's privileged guitar as a mule. And who better to do that than someone with access? Like a member of the band. Yo! Order! So this igniter
Was placed in there for the clear reason, it seems.
it was a safety precaution.
A precaution? Ah, good forehead. At last, it all comes together.
Every strange thing that happened that day.
Here to review, Maestro, the general sounds of Lemmore's ballad, if you would. First, the keys were stolen, a harmless demeanor, which forced me to break my lock on my guitar case. The key was stolen to retrieve the cocoon from the guitar.
I see.
But things didn't go so well. The smuggler wasn't counting on the guitar being wrapped. Only the member of the band could get near the case. Unwrapping the guitar would raise too many suspicions. Then the concert began. Right about this time, a very large problem presented itself to the smuggler.
What's that?
Mr. Latouche. Oh. Mr. Latouche, an undercover agent, was onto something. He would have known about the guitar. He only had to check the shipping records. So, Mr. Latouche tried to examine the guitar himself. If the cocoon was confiscated then, the jig would be up. The only thing left for the smuggler to do was to get rid of the whole lot. It's over. Press the switch. Now! The guitar burst into flames and the cocoon was lost. And then, Mr. Latouche died, with Landmar there to witness it. There's your case.
Brilliant, man.
Detective Crescent, I gotta know, you make all that up as a fly? It's a made-up story. It makes a great deal of sense, Gideon.
The Republic of Virginia?
Sorry, man, but I haven't even been there. True, you haven't.
Let's see you make up a story for that, kid.
How'd I hide the cocoon in the first place, huh?
Not so hard to imagine.
You had help, a Virginian accomplice. That's all. That you had an accomplice was clear from the start. The voice Lamar heard proves it. It's over. Press the switch now. You make this transmission from backstage. Or you poke-skirted was on stage.
But who was it?
This is it, the coup de grace. But for once, I know what I'm doing. There's only one person who could have helped them.
Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say then. But be warned, with the great accusation comes great responsibility. Make up your answer on the fly as you were, you'll be harshly penalized. Are you ready, Mr. Justice?
Who was the smuggler's accomplice? There is only one person who meets all the requirements of an accomplice. And that person is the defendant, Machi Tobai.
But Mr. Justice, he's your client.
A defense attorney accusing his client? That's a new one. I assure you, no one is more unhappy about this than I. But I am here to defend him in the murder of Mr. Latouche. And I stand by my statement earlier that he is innocent in that particular crime.
Indeed, the defendant is Virginian.
Does meet the basic requirements to be the accomplice.
But what if it was in fact Lamar?
It couldn't have been.
Well, you seem sure of yourself.
The reason is electronic signals, Your Honor.
Electronic signals?
Recall that this remote only works at a range of 30 feet. Beyond that, it's useless.
Yes, that's true.
Now, think back to the testimony. When the shooter made his transmission, Landmar was in the air vent, right above the dressing room where the shooter stand. Let's take a look at the stage diagram. This is the area where the remote could reach from the air vents.
Well, looking at this,
it seems that Landmar still could have done the deed. No. When the shooter made the transmission, the stage was slightly different than shown here. It was the middle of the guitar Serenade. Part of the stage was raised. Prosecutor Gabbard and the Landmar stand-in were in the air. They were on the tower, which happens to be 15 feet tall. In other words, the remote could have worked from Landmar's position in the air vent. Well, Detective Crescent, what do you say to that?
Your Honor. Yes, Detective?
Could we see the video where Gavin's guitar burns? Just one more time. Well, I don't see why not. What? Don't tell me he had a way out of this. Too bad, so sad, punk. Punk? First you were sleeves, then kid, now punk? You're losing rank fast, Apollo. What exactly is we supposed to see in the video? The problem isn't what we see, correct, Evian? Right, it's what you hear. We are musicians after all. Care to explain for us non-musicians? Sure thing, punk. Let me get your yarn straight first. You're saying I ordered the Wii pianist to set up the igniter? Is that right? Yes? Well, in order to do that, we have to press the switch. Am I right? Okay. Well, take another listen. Pay attention to the piano. Piano? What seems to be the problem there? The piano sounded just fine. And that's the problem, man. Still don't get it? Yeah. How's he supposed to hit the switch if he's playing? You got Miss Diva, the guitar, the bass, the piano, and the drum. The only one with her hands free was the Diva. Lamar! But according to you, she could have been the accomplice, could she? Ugh. Your accomplice would have been a hard time helping out if they couldn't even press the switch. Piano plays non-stop. Could I press the switch? Well, Mr. Justice, the piano does seem to be playing while the guitar catches fire. Well, it's okay. We all make mistakes sometimes. Apollo, were you wrong? I can't be wrong. Everything makes perfect sense. How could it all just... strange? What's strange? No, it's just... something's odd about the performance there. Odd? Mr. Justice, if Mashi Tobai didn't press the switch, then he could not have been the accomplice you claim he is. But everything points to it. Every fact says he's the accomplice. You got the facts wrong, man. Here's some facts for you. Gavin's guitar was on fire, but the pianist didn't press the switch. In other words, your story's full of holes. Mr. Justice, let's hear your final opinion on this matter now. Was the defendant Mashi Tobai the accomplice? Your answer will reflect on everything you said here. Give it some thought. Apollo, if Machi's not the accomplice, then our whole case is ruined. I know that. It has to be him. He was the one who could have helped the smuggler. He had to press that switch. Well, you better find a way to prove it. Ugh. What do I do? What do I do? There has to be something that doesn't fit. Something odd. Something odd. Wait a second. What? You thought of something? What was Gavin saying just now? Strange. What's strange? No, it's just... something's odd about the performance there. There's not much to go on, but that's all I got. What exactly did you hear was odd? Have you come up with something, Mr. Justice? May I remind you that everything rests on this. Can you prove Machi Tobai pressed that switch? Let's hear your final answer. Can you prove that Machi Tobai pressed that switch? I don't know if you call this proof per se, but I can prove it was possible. As prosecutor, it falls on me to ask you to show us his evidence supporting this. Head forehead, you sure about this? Accepted. There's no evidence, man. Let's see your evidence, Mr. Justice. And what do you base on your claim that the defendant pressed that switch? The basis for my claim is music, Your Honor.
Music? What about music?
Let's listen to the piano part around the time where the switch was to be pressed. Right before the guitar burst into flames.
I hear the piano being played.
But doesn't it sound kind of simple?
Simple?
Ah, I think I know what he's suggesting. You think Machi could have played that part with one hand?
One hand?
He only needed one hand to press that switch. He could have played the piano with the other.
Ha! What? So you're some kind of piano savant?
Actually no.
And what do you know?
You can't play the part like with that with one hand.
Ugh.
Maybe. I don't know what I'm talking about here. Wait, I know. Hey, Trucy! Yeah? You got something?
Mr. Wright, your father, he's a pianist.
Could he... Oh, Daddy? He would play the part like that even if he had 3 hands. So sorry, so sad for you. No, not really.
Huh?
That was just the easy way to prove it. It was always the hard way.
Man, how are you going to prove whether he played it with one hand or two? You can't!
I admit, it would be rather difficult to prove. But it's highly likely we were playing with one hand.
How do you know that?
The clue is what Prosecutor Gavin described as sounding odd. What sounded odd? I'll bet we can tell by listening to a certain part of the song.
No. No way! Well, since we come to the moment of truth at last, let's see what Mr. Justice has to say for himself.
Show us the part where it proved that the defendant was playing with one hand.
Right before the guitar burst into flame. Machi was definitely playing with one hand just before the guitar caught fire. And one section of that song proves it.
Take that!
Prosecutor Gavin, I'm sure you realize by now just what it was that sounded odd to you. As I'm sure you realize it yourself, good forehead.
Realize what?
I'll demonstrate. Let's listen to the part of the question again, shall we? Pay particular attention to the fleeting melody, please.
Man, how many times do we have to listen to the same thing?
You're right. Enough of that. Let's listen to another section, shall we?
Another section?
The guitar bursts into flame at the end of the second verse. Let's listen to the same spot in the first verse. Pay attention to "Oh That Night of Your Embrace."
Play verse 2 again. They feel the same too, but they're clearly very different. What?
Well put, Your Honor. The phrase of verse 2 is quite simple, but the same phrase of verse 1 has high and low notes. You have to use 2 hands to play that for sure.
What's that prove?
I would think you know by that by now.
This is why I hate dealing with amateurs, man.
The 2 verses have different arrangement, happens all the time. Not this time, Daniel. There's no point in changing the arrangement if you can't hear it clearly. And that wasn't the point. I had to play specifically that part so the piano could stay in the background.
Oh!
That was what I noticed. Why should the same verse sound slightly different, I asked myself. Now ask yourself why Machi changed how he played, and there's only one answer. He needed a free hand in order to press the switch.
Oh! Order! I believe this ties all the facts together. Well, Prosecutor Gavin?
Yes, quite. Though personally, this comes with a terrible disappointment.
Huh.
What, no comeback? I can't believe it. I finally did it. I shut him up.
Very well. Watching the objection from the prosecution, I will now state the court's opinion on this matter. Good show, Sleeps. No, great show. It's not over?
I don't like it when he looks so happy. You tell him, Gavin. Tell him what's so disappointing. Personally, I'm terribly disappointed. And you here, Forehead.
Huh? Me?
Yes, don't get me wrong. Your case is solid. The facts all checks out, but even now, you have yet to show us a single piece of decisive evidence.
Yeah, but the fact... anyone can see it was him. Unfortunately, anyone doesn't include the law. I'm afraid your case doesn't cut it. But... 1,000 facts might point towards the same conclusion. But without decisive evidence, it's not proof. That's the rule under the current legal system.
I don't believe it.
It does not seem as though the defense have any more evidence to present.
Oh, I think he did. We already know. Have seen it a long ways back.
It is unfortunate, but at present the court is unable to acknowledge your accusation.
What? What?
Truth is staring us all right in the face.
Why can't they see it?
What's the point of the legal system that protects criminals?
Oh, remember what Daddy said?
It wouldn't be easy proving he did it, especially not under the current court system.
So what do I do?
Like I said, good luck. But be aware that it will be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Ugh. Every man has an igniter inside it. Find Derry Kristen's igniter and set it off.
I wonder what you meant by every man's igniter.
I think he just meant a weak spot, no?
I kind of think that a single spark could turn into a wildfire in motion.
Wouldn't be able to press him further with conventional means. I gotta find a weak spot in this guy. Something fatal.
So, can I get back to work now or what? I may look like I got a lot of time on my hands, but I got no more time to play pretend with this dead weight of turn.
Well, Mr. Justice, you've come this far without decisive evidence. This witness won't be coming back to the stand once we let him go.
Every man has an igniter.
Huh?
Didn't you say the better the guitar, the brighter it burns, Prosecutor Gavin?
Ah, yes, good guitars are kept dry as why. That provides the best sound. Even a small spark could cause irreplaceable damage. Your plan has an igniter in it too, Detective. It was there from the very beginning. What? Fighting time, Justice. If you blow this one, he'll be out of your hands for good.
Go for it, Apollo.
What, and this igniter's supposed to come burn me up? That's almost poetic there, Mr. Attorney.
All the better, I managed on the poetry. And I intend to hear this one through the very end. Good Forehead. You are accusing this man, Derry Pearson, of 2 crimes. The murder of Mr. Lactus and the smuggling of Virginia Cocoon. Is this your last chance? This is your last chance to prove the case.
This trial's already run for far too long. Mr. Justice, this will be my last one. The moment this igniter of yours turns out to be a dud, is the moment this cross-examination ends. Understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then, let's have it. Show us the basis of these accusations against Derry and Kristen.
Okay, this is really my last chance. The key that will take apart Derry and Kristen's plan is... Your igniter isn't the piece of evidence.
Huh? So what is?
It is true that I couldn't show decisive evidence, but perhaps I need this to prove my case with something else.
You mean the witness?
Proving his guilt is a tall order, but I got just the person to do it.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Who is this person that can prove Derry Kristen's guilt?
Take that!
The one person who can prove Derry Kristen's guilt is the defendant, Machi Tobai!
Your client again?
Machi Tobai was an accomplice of the Cocoon smuggling plot. Without him, Derry and Kristen could not have gone in the Cocoon. furthermore, he can easily prove that the one who smuggled that cocoon is a real criminal in this case.
How so?
It would require just one of these very cocoons Mr. Latouche was looking for. With the cooperation of the Republic of Virginia, he could burn the cocoon. The burnt cocoon will leave a particular residue. A residue we would no doubt also find inside the burned out guitar.
Aha, very scientific of you.
Thus, if Machi Tobai acknowledged his agreement with Daring Kristen concerning their attempted smuggling of the Borginian cocoon, the case is solved. Darren's laughing again. Your unrelenting passion is remarkable. You really went to get me, don't you? Too bad you'll never be able to. Why not? Little Key Triggler won't acknowledge anything, especially not anything to do with cocoon smuggling.
What's this all about?
Taking a cocoon out of the country means death, by Virginia law. Ah! Yes, see? For Penis really was a smuggler, and testifying about it will be suicide. Believe me, he's not taking... But you're wrong, Detective Kristen.
What?
It's the other way around. If Machi doesn't admit to smuggling here, he's in deep trouble.
Huh? How?
Look, if Machi admits to smuggling here, then he'll be tried in our courts by our laws. You don't get the death penalty for smuggling in our country. The victim in this case was an undercover Interpol agent. I'm sure that news has already reached Virginia. And luckily Marcus Aguilar is in court today, including the part about the Virginia cocoon.
Yeah, but...
But if Machi didn't admit to smuggling now, he'll eventually be picked up by the Virginia police. It's not like he's in any danger in our courts. We're not going to find him guilty of murder here, not now.
Yeah, but you can't do this. You can't accuse me.
Maybe the law doesn't allow it. But who's going to think you're really innocent after hearing this trial? The same goes for Machi Tobai.
Ugh.
The cocoon smuggling, your entire plan. Machi Tobai knows everything. There's only one way out of it for him, and that's to acknowledge his own crime. The crime of cocoon smuggling.
Don't worry there. I'll get you out of the country. I'll set you up someplace. A hidden mansion? Real nice.
You want a house made of cookies? Or no, a house made of pianos? Come on.
Please! Don't talk!
We got him. Darian, I considered that my last section with you. We rocked. I'm guessing we could treat our outpost as a confession? Uh-oh, he's laughing again. There's a kind of sick desperation in it now, though.
Well, have you been listening to today's trial?
Yes.
And you talk? You tell this court everything?
I didn't want it to turn out this way, but I'm not a kind of lawyer that can overlook a crime. Today's trial was all in your benefit, you know. I see no reason why you should hesitate now. I knew from the beginning. I knew. Machi. Situation I can't explain, but money I need. Very much money. Today's trial raises a delicate issue in our legal system. The only thing definite in the court of law is evidence. This is a golden rule, however. It has become apparent that not all things can be tried by the standard.
Should another case of this sort surface, you may have to be considered alternatives to which to administer justice. Anyway, Mr. Mashitabai.
Yes?
I promise you will receive a fair trial by the laws of our country. And with regards to our current charges of the murder of Mr. Latouche, this court was prepared to announce a verdict.
I thank you. I only lie, but you see truth. You find truth.
That's our job. Very well. This court finds the defendant Machi Tobai not guilty. Court is adjourned.
I wonder what will happen to Machi. Well, he did smuggle a cocoon out of Virginia. I guess there will be another trial here. All's well that ends well. Daddy! I owe you both my thanks. Lamar? My, something wrong? I'm sorry. Machi was your partner in stage. Your friend. Yes, I thought of him as my own son. I don't know if I do. Yet. Something's got a hold of him. Something evil. I see that. He must pay for what he has done. Is that not what it should be? I'm still sorry. Do not be sorry. You have given me courage. Courage? I am considering an eye operation.
That was my suggestion, actually.
You mean you'll be able to see again? It's funny. I've always been afraid of the light. Light seems so harsh, so unforgiving.
According to the doctor, Lamar lost her sight due to some kind of accident. An accident?
As you know, I suffer from amnesia. I fear that if I could see, perhaps it would open my eyes to the truth I have been running from. I was scared.
You know what changed her mind? Hearing your fence in there today. You could feel your gaze, unwavering, always look straight at the truth.
If the light returns into my eyes, I think I will take up painting.
Painting?
That's right. She's a landscape painter herself, after all. I will paint the two of you. I promise. Woohoo! I can't wait, Lamar.
I owe you my thanks too, Apollo.
Thanks, Mr. Wright, but for what?
You reminded me that I need to hurry things along. On my secret mission, that is.
Right, your secret mission. Apollo, Trucy, I hope we will meet again someday soon. You bet, me too!
And so, like the ballad, the trial flowered on and on until it came to the end. Thanks to the trial, the guitar serenade was a huge hit. Prosecutor Gavin's even more dazzling to look at it now. But there's something I want to say to that guy. Next time you write a ballad, have them catch the killer at the end. And with that, Turnabout Serenade is done. Alright. That's gonna be it. The next stream, we will begin the final case of this game. Turnabout Succession. And now I think we will end it here. Until then, this is Robin Phoenix signing off. Peace.